Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show as we broadcast to you here from the studios just outside of Atlanta, Georgia, our own studios. Now we are moving up the ladder here, and we are simulcasting for you right now on both Facebook Live and on YouTube Live as well. So if you want to see me, you can go ahead and log on right now, again, to Facebook Live. And I think I have my two of my cohorts here on the line as well. Gentlemen, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here, but you're breaking up a little bit, but I can hear you a little bit.
You can hear us pretty good. How about now?
Miles T in the building.
All right. Miles T is here. And do we have Mr. Ken Swilling in the building also?
Yes, sir. I'm right here. We're breaking up. We got a little bad connection going on, but I think I can still hear you a little bit.
All right, gentlemen. We're going to try to see if we
Ken,
can.
I can hear you good.
You can hear me better now? I think I was too far away from the mic.
But like I said, it's in and out.
In and out. All right. Well, we're going to try a plan B here in just a second, and hopefully we can get a little bit better quality on the recording for you as well. So we're going to have you gentlemen just hang on 1 second. We're going to be back in just a moment as we try to adjust our connection here on the Real Talk Sports Show. Keep it locked right here and don't go away.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Miles.
All right, gentlemen, we are back on the air. Hopefully you can hear me a little bit better now. I've made some adjustments, and hopefully and prayerfully you can hear me. Am I sounding any better, gentlemen?
You're still breaking up a little bit.
Still breaking up a little bit. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what is cooking here tonight. Of course, anytime you try to do all these things at one time, you always have some drama, but that's okay. We're going to proceed along. Like I said, again, we're going to try one more thing, and hopefully and prayerfully that will take care of it for us here. I'm going to try to tap in from another source, and hopefully that will work A-OK. And if that will work, then we'll be good to go. Let's see if we can try. We're going to try to dial in from another location and see if we can get in a little bit better sound quality for you guys. So hopefully you guys can hear me a little bit better. And we're going to give it a shot right now. Give me a little bit of trouble here. I'm not sure. Yep.
Still breaking up pretty badly.
Still breaking up. All right. Well, we're going to try.
I can hear Ken pretty good.
You can hear Ken, but you can't hear me. That's the problem. All right. Well, we're going to let you guys go ahead and continue on the conversation. Basically, as you know, we're talking NFL and we're talking college football. So I'm going to let you guys jump in while I get everything situated. And you guys can talk a little bit about the college football playoffs. Number one, I know we talked a little bit about this last week. Do you guys agree with the 4 teams they have in there? And who do you think is the more compelling matchup Is it the 1-4 matchup, Alabama, going for the rubber match against Clemson, or Georgia making its first time out against Oklahoma, SEC defense against the gunslinger, new Heisman Trophy winner, Baker Mayfield? What do you think?
Well, I definitely feel like they got the right 4 teams in the matchup. I think the Alabama Clemson matchup was the right thing to do. I think Alabama being in the Final Four was definitely the right team to put in the Final Four. We knew that the way they were positioned the week before, by being the number 5 team in the country, that if any movement happened to them, that we would see them probably jump up into that Final Four. So I think that was the right situation. So just hopefully, it's going to be another good game. I know everybody doesn't want to see the Alabama Clemson 3, but it's going to happen.
I do.
So,
I do.
Prayerfully, it's going to be a good game. And this is probably, I was telling somebody the other day, I think this is probably one of the least talented teams that Alabama has had at this point.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, well, with what they got, with everything they got going on, I mean, this is not that star-studded Alabama team that we've seen in the past. So, but I still think they have something to prove. I still think they'll play well. I still think it'll be a good game. And of course, I'm an ACC man, so I'm going for the Tigers to win that game. In the other matchup with Oklahoma and Georgia, I really feel like this is an opportunity for the University of Georgia to put the stamp of approval on that season and to really have a coming out party to prove to everybody that they're real. They've got 31 seniors on this team, which is the most of any team that's playing in this particular Final Four season.
31 seniors, right?
Yes, they do have 31 seniors
okay.
that are out there. I think they got 31. Oklahoma's got like 20 some odd. Alabama's got 20 some odd seniors, and Clemson only has 6. So you're looking for Clemson. Clemson is really built the right way, and it's really the way that I think Georgia's going to be built. Kirby Smart has it really going on in that. He's layering talent on top of talent on top of talent. It's going to be very interesting to see over the next few years how the SEC East responds to what Kirby's doing in his second, and has done in his second year.
Can I respond to that, sir?
Yeah, of course, sir. Go ahead.
I believe the Tennessee. It's time for Tennessee. Here we go.
Yes, sir. And how the SEC East is going to respond, like you just said, the 31 seniors. But let me get to the Final Four first. But the Clemson and Alabama game, yes, I do want to see the third matchup, because this is basically the tiebreaker. So this is a good matchup to what we see. I really think this is going to be the best defense that Clemson's seen since probably Auburn. This is different because if you think about it, Alabama is getting all this time off, and they're going to rest their players, and the players are going to come back. That's the ones that's been missing and out with injury. So they will be healthy by the time the bowl game comes. So I know at least 2 of them are supposed to be out of the 4 that was missing. I can't think of their names right now, but I know they're going to be back, and it's going to be a good matchup. I don't think that Clemson is going to be as big a threat without Deshaun Watson against this defense, because for one thing, Auburn doesn't have a secondary like Alabama does, for as like Fitzpatrick out there, and Bryant can't pass like Deshaun Watson. That's the only reason Clemson was putting points up on Alabama, and we see what Deshaun Watson's doing on the next level. So he was just a special talent.
So in other words, what you're saying basically again is we see an SEC bias. Is that what I'm saying right now?
Is that what I'm saying right now?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying Kelly Bryant has not seen a defense Auburn, and he what they only scored. What was the final score then? Like 13-7, 16-7, I believe that final score was.
14-8, whatever it was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and they haven't seen a team with this kind of team speed and stuff since then, and hard hitting at the same time, and going out there with Georgia and Oklahoma. That's gonna be a good match. Just same way Oklahoma hasn't seen a team like Georgia with that kind of team speed on the defensive side of the ball. That Roquan Smith is probably the best linebacker in the country. He's one of the best middle linebackers I've seen in a long time, running the 4.4, 140, 6'2", 245, 250. You know what I'm saying? Moving like that all over the field, and he's just going to be all over the field. The DBs for Georgia's going to, they're going to give Baker Mayfield a run for his money and give him some trouble back there and some pressure. But if there's anybody that can do it, it is little Johnny. He can do it. He's probably the most agile quarterback, not agile, the slick quarterback I ever seen since Johnny Manziel, getting in and out of tackles and getting all over the field and creating stuff downfield just by using his legs, getting out the pocket. But Georgia does have the team speed to stop that. But at the same time, like you said, it's going to be. I definitely think they got the best 4 teams in, and if they would have put a Big Ten team in there, I wouldn't even watched it. Let you know that I won't even watch the game.
Well, again, it does seem that you're staying true to course. You have your bias towards the SEC, which I can understand because the SEC is the first conference ever to put 2 teams into the college football playoffs. So, what can you say? You can't speak against that. You got 2 guys in there, both Alabama and Georgia. Really. Auburn not had 3 losses. You might have seen Auburn instead of Alabama. So at the end of the day, there's no question the SEC is very, very strong. For those of you who are watching on Facebook Live or on YouTube, you can actually call in. The show number is 347-326-9991. You're listening to a live edition of the Real Talk Sports Show as we broadcast to you just outside of Atlanta, Georgia, which is, I like to call it the conundrum of sports in the South. Anything that's everything is going on here in Atlanta. More sports events, especially around football, than any other city. And you got to really give kudos to Atlanta because they have really found a way to bring big time sports here to the city.
Yes, sir.
Without a doubt, you've got a lot of things going on. You got the celebration getting ready to take place on the 16th, which that's bringing that's the HBCU National Championship, as I call it. And that's going to be very exciting. You got the high school playoffs happening all over the place. Since they didn't get it in the Dome last weekend, you got a bevy of high school championships taking on this weekend. This upcoming weekend. So you got a lot of stuff going on. It's just going to be it's a fun time to be here in Atlanta. You got the Falcons on the verge of playoff operations. So it's a real exciting time in the city. A good time to be in Atlanta, Georgia.
Well, speaking of that, what do you guys think about? I had a little bit of angst about the idea of the guys not being able to play their high school championship games in the Dome. I understand you have all kinds of scheduling issues, but I just thought that they should have found some way to let those young men be able to play because at the end of the day, that's what those guys work all year for. Now, the Atlanta teams, they were fortunate enough to actually have some games played. They had some type of a tournament played in the Dome. But at the end of the day, man, to me, it's very disappointing that these young guys can't play their championship game in this brand new Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
I think you're right. I think that was very disheartening to a lot of the young people that were I was watching the game last week when Peach County was playing. I think it was Rome, I believe, or one of those teams, Calhoun rather. and they kind of went to one of the coaches because they told the team that was to play next that they were not going to play that night. Matter of fact, that they wouldn't be able to play in the dome at all. And you could almost see the desperation and the heartbreak and despair that was in the eyes of the coach, the team, how some of his seniors cried, basically, because, this is an opportunity. This is what you've been working for. Some of these guys trying to get to that point, trying to get into the Mercedes-Benz stadiums to play that championship. And that's the I want at this point in the young man's life, young athlete's life. So that's what they've been working for all year long. So it was just kind of disheartening to see them not be able to do it. I wish they could have, scheduling-wise, could have worked it out so these young men would be able to fulfill a dream. But I guess they have been set down, and nobody else is going to play in the year. So I guess they didn't want to make it unfair for some and not fair for others, so they just made it play in it. And now you have them going into home site. They had to flip coins for home site and see who played where. So it's just going to be interesting to see what happens and how it comes out, because as we know, weather does play a big into outcomes of games sometimes, and that'll happen this weekend when we get the real live action going on in Hospital, Georgia.
No doubt. I mean, at the end of the day, go ahead, Miles.
Well, you can go ahead. I was just saying, I kind of suspected that a little bit, that they wasn't going to really let them play this, especially this year anyway. I mean, I didn't have no specific reason why, but disappointing for the young men that, so that's especially that's the advantage and one of the good things about playing high school football in Georgia. When you do win your division playoff to the playoffs and get to go to the championship, that you get to play in the Georgia Dome. That's a big deal for these high school students, and that they just took it away from them like that. It is kind of upsetting, and I wouldn't say, I don't know necessarily call it wrong, but it is. Now, do y'all know if this is just a 1-year thing, or is it just in the future too?
Well, they were scheduled to play, Miles, and everything was all scheduled, and due to the weather that happened last week, caused a lot of postponement of their games. They had 2 games that were already in progress and had been played, and it's just one of those things where scheduling conflict is not going to allow it to take place in upcoming weekend. So they had to. Everybody had, like I said before, they had to flip a coin and choose a site to go play at. Whether it would be a home site for some of these teams. So it's just just bad that they couldn't work out another schedule. It was possible talk of them playing on a Sunday, but the Georgia High School Association, they don't allow games to be played on Sunday. So that's one of the things that was even discussed and talked about, but they don't allow that. So it's just one of those things you just hate it for the kids, hate it for all those, especially when you talk about a team like Colquitt County who had run the gauntlet and had to come up to the Atlanta region. I think 3 or 4 weekends in a row.
That's right.
And we're up here. Pretty much they got to be last Thursday, and was slated to play. And now they've got to go home, come back to play the game over again. So it's just one of those things you just hate for it to happen. But I do understand scheduling, I do understand all those things. But just kind of disheartening to see all those seniors be kind of let down, disappointed at this.
Yeah, no doubt. It's again one of those situations where the young man, I think,
I think really would have wanted to play in the game, and certainly since you had some teams to actually get there and play, it just made it tough. I mean, it really did. It just made it a tough thing for these young men to be able to not be able to get in there and play. So again, hopefully and prayerfully next time they will in fact be able to play next year. Hopefully there won't be any snowpocalypse, and we'll be able to really get in there and let these young guys enjoy what's cooking. If you guys want to join in the live broadcast, we actually have a live calling number. It is 347-326-9991. Hopefully everybody can hear me on Facebook Live. Unfortunately, as always, there's when I try to do these things, there always seems to be some type of flying equipment, and right now I can't log on to my own Facebook page, believe it or not, so I can't tell how the volume sound is. Also on YouTube, I can't tell either. So if you guys can't hear me, or if you can hear me, just type something into the message to let me know so I can make an adjustment if need be. So please do that. Let me know that we are, in fact, audible, that you guys can hear us on the air. Again, call in number 347-326-9991. You're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show. We broadcast to you live just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Well, it's interesting. You guys were talking about going back to college football for a second. You guys were talking about the idea of what was the better matchup, and we got a chance to talk to Reese Davis, of course, from ESPN, and that's what he said. He felt, although both games, had great storylines, Georgia and Oklahoma obviously playing in the Rose Bowl, Georgia playing there for the first time, I think, since 1942. Oklahoma, I don't know if they played in the Rose Bowl at all, so these two teams coming out there, going out west, and letting the West Coast kind of see a little bit of Southern football, I think is a great storyline. Obviously, SEC versus the Big 12, but there's no question that, all eyes are going to be on that Alabama-Clemson game because technically it's a rubber match. You got two teams that have been in the college football playoffs 3 of the last 4 years, and these are your last two champions. So to have these guys play a semifinal playing game is going to be epic. Last two champions. So to have these guys
no
play
doubt about that. That's going to be the kind of the ice cream, the topping on the ice cream for me to see that particular game. I think that could possibly be my championship game. I think that's the matchup I actually wanted to see in the championship. But to me, that the committee split it up the way they did. SEC, all SEC, and I'm surprised they did it. So that there was, I'm thinking the fix is thin somewhere. Maybe Mars is on the committee and you don't know about it. I don't know.
Well, it does seem. Well, it does seem odd that you would have the possibility of two SEC teams actually playing in this championship. But the thing that I find interesting is the fact that if you do have two SEC teams playing, you actually have them playing almost a redo of what they do every year in the SEC championship game. So that's going to be very interesting. And the other thing too is let's face it, if those two teams play, no disrespect to Clemson, because I think if Clemson came, it would be a similar type of thing. But if you have an Alabama-Georgia matchup in the Georgia Dome, sorry about that, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, it's going to be colossal. I mean, the fans. First of all, it makes it so much easier for the fans of both schools to get there, so you're guaranteed to have a full slate of people no matter what. I mean, you'd have a sellout anyway, but I think that just having an all-SEC final would be just a boondoggle for Atlanta and for all the local businesses here, because like I said again, you'd have people traveling here that wouldn't even have tickets to the game, because they're that close. You'd have people just coming, man, to be a part of the whole fanfare that they do, because they do a big championship game fan meet and greet. So again, it's going to be very, very interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting to see who's going to pull this off. Over out in that Rose Bowl, we don't want to sleep on that game because you have the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, and he didn't put any locker room material up, but he said he is definitely excited about the challenge of playing the SEC. Because he has made statements in the past about the SEC, not necessarily overrated, but gets too much publicity as being a top conference and kind of poo-pooing the other conferences. So it's going to be a good one. Roquan Smith, in his remarks at college football playoffs, he basically said, "Hey, we're ready to go." And the same thing, we want to face the challenge of playing this guy that's probably one of the best offensive players in the nation. So it's just going to be good. I mean, it's going to be real hard-nosed football both ways around. And you talk about the SEC, and we know that Roquan Smith, these other guys have speed that Mayfield may not have faced as far as putting pressure. But on the other hand, you also have to keep in mind that Oklahoma has a strength where Georgia is weak. Baker Mayfield likes to get the ball downfield, and we have seen that the Georgia defensive backfield has been susceptible to the big plays downfield.
You're definitely right about that. When I look at what Missouri's quarterback was able to do to them early in the season, kind of makes you look at it and say that there is a puncher's chance here. I think the quick game is something that Georgia hadn't seen in a while. What they like to do with the RPOs. A lot of it will look like Auburn a little bit. I think they won't be able to, like Auburn does. They will be able to play. I think Baker Mayfield is a little bit better passer maybe than Jared Stidham. So, you're going to see him get the ball out of his hands a lot quicker. You're going to see him be a lot more active in the run game, and that's going to could possibly pose some problems for Georgia. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens when they lock.
Like you said, man, this is good.
And he's a better anticipator too. A better anticipator than Stidham was too. Baker the best that he sees it before it happens. He'll throw the receiver open, and he makes something out of nothing. And just his intensity, it's like a defensive player playing offense. He wants you. He wants to score on you. He wants to throw the deep ball. He wants to get that home run on you, and he's not afraid to throw. He will throw a 50, 60-yard on you real quick and don't think twice about it. And Florida, not Florida, but Georgia better be on their game. They need him as a spy on him, because if they don't have a spy on Baker Mayfield, somebody watching him at all times, it might be a long night for Georgia.
Well, Ken, what do you think about the idea of using Roquan Smith? I don't know if you want to put necessarily your best linebacker and conceivably best defender on spying the quarterback.
Well, I mean, I think I'm gonna have to agree with Miles on this one. I think that you want to take him, and especially in those situations where what they're going to predetermine to do. When you get in those third longs, when you get into those situations where he could possibly use his feet to move the chains, you definitely want to have somebody, with an eye on him. And Roquan Smith, I'll tell you, it did that against Georgia Tech a few weeks ago. And I'm telling you right now, he's probably the fastest linebacker I've seen at the college level. In a long time. I mean, he really is sideline to sideline. He will be a difference maker on the next level. Mm-hmm. He is a top 10 draft. He is everything that everybody talks about him being. He is that guy. And like I said, he's one of those guys that's going to be, when we talk about it 15 years from now, balls go back one day. I just think he's that kind of talent, and nobody,
he'll hit you and tackle you at the same time. He don't just tackle you; he'll hit you at the same time. So, yeah,
and you want a guy like that that's not afraid to strike people, that's not afraid to cover when and that part of the game is going to be interesting to see what Georgia does as far as covering when they go into the spread option and they go into those spread out situations, what does Georgia do? How do they adjust? What kind of adjustments they make? Because dealing with it, this last game they played against Auburn, I said the whole time leading up to that game that I was trying to see exactly how Georgia was going to handle and got punched, because muscle memory is something else. And getting drugged 2 weeks prior, they came out and handled it pretty well. They had a situation where they could have went down 14. They were on the way to going down 14, and got a chance to make a play. And once they did, they handled it pretty well. And I think that win, put a lot of, showed me a lot about the University of Georgia. And I'm a Georgia Tech guy. I will always be a Georgia Tech guy. But I told Garrison Hurst the other night, as I saw him in the press room, y'all got a really good chance to do something really special this year. I just hope that you guys can your young guys can go ahead and pull that thing off for y'all, because it's nothing sweeter than winning a championship, And I could only imagine winning one for University of Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And as much fanfare as was made about our championship in 1990, I could only imagine being at the University of Georgia and winning something so special.
No question, man, because it's long overdue. You're talking about over a 30-year wait, for these guys to be able to win a national title. Last time, a guy by the name of Herschel Walker was at the helm. So it's been a long time before they could do that. And there's no question that the Red and Black Nation would have a party like no other if Georgia was able to win this national title.
And with them having 31 seniors like that too, you definitely, this is your time to do it, because you basically, after this year, you're going to be rebuilding somewhat after you lose all these seniors, and of course that's when Tennessee's going to step in there. But but they better enjoy this time while they got it. They better, that's what I'm saying. They're going to be rebuilding after this year, so while they here, they better make the best of it, because they might not be back in this situation in a while. You never know.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because they announced earlier today that they signed the number one offensive lineman. And again, we know that, Ken will tell you, hey, 5-star, 4-star, you don't know until they're actually on that playing field. But this is a definite big announcement, because one of the areas that Georgia had been suspect under Mark Richt, especially in the last 2 or 3 years, they were unable to really produce a top-level, all SEC, all-American type offensive lineman. So the fact that they got this guy who's supposed to be the number one prospect in the country at O-line, that's a good start to rebuild with.
Yes, sir.
Without a doubt, that's what you want. And now Kirby's got that thing going the way you need it to go. You need to layer talent on top of talent on top of talent. And when you can do that, you can get those 4- and 5-star guys. And like you said, you don't know what those guys are going to be until you get them on campus, until you start working with them, until you start getting them under your tutelage. Because most of the time, a 4- and 5-star guy, he's not playing against 4- and 5-star athletes on the other side most of the time. Very few times he's against that kind of talent. So you have to actually get him in and get him broke into your system and see what can happen when he's on your campus. And hopefully you can have something. But even with the University of Georgia doing what they're doing and building those and having those things.
All right, guys, you can hear by the music there. We're going to take a little bit of break and listen to the Real Talk Sports Show, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Yes, sir.
righty, we are back. You're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show as we broadcast to you from just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. And we're talking college football right now. Again, if you guys want to join in, you can give us a call. Phone number is 347-326-9991. Well, gentlemen, let's shift over here for a second to the NFL. Look,
Mr. Simmons, can I ask you one question before we shift?
Sure, go ahead.
I want to ask both of y'all a question. Now, out of the quarterbacks, what you see, we saw Baker Mayfield win the Heisman, and talking about the Allen kid out there in Wyoming, Rosen out there in UCLA, Donald out there at USC, and Lamar Jackson, of course. Who would you take as your first pick of the out of these 5 guys out of his name? Who would you take first in the draft?
That's a good question.
That's a real good question. It all depends on what you're looking for and what skill set you're looking for. Probably, I think the quarterback they'll probably have the most upside and might be the most ready to play. If you ask me, I know he's your favorite guy, but I'm taking Baker Mayfield. If you ask me, with my first pick, and I say that, and I know he's not the favorite to be a high draft pick, but I like a guy that can win in multiple ways, and he's a guy that is a proven winner. Has had a little, some little, a little bit of history, but he's a guy that when you put the ball in his hand, the moment is not too big for him. So he's a guy that can do some things. Hands kind of worry me a little bit, but
small hands. The corny hands. They got the corny hands.
He got real small hands, but that worries me a little bit. But I'm gonna take him, and I gotta take. I'll probably take either Rosen or Lamar Jackson or one of those guys. I think you got more upside. I think if you're looking to win right away, you take a guy like Baker Mayfield, a little more seasoned guy, a guy that can come in and make a difference. And I believe that guys on the next league, guys like playing with him, guys rally around him, and then make plays for him. And we all know what that means when you're going to win.
Now, I would take if I had to get somebody who would come and start for me next season to step in, I would take Baker Mayfield. I have an established quarterback, say like the Atlanta Falcons.
I knew that was coming. Yeah, I knew that was coming.
I knew that was coming.
I would take Lamar Jackson so he can sit out 2 years, 3 years, so he can sit behind the offense, sit behind the starter, and we'll have another.
That's what I wanted you to get to. Yeah, get to the point. Let's not dance around.
That's what it would be. Vic asked back here in Atlanta, and he would have 2 years sitting down behind Ryan, 2 or 3 years, maybe less than that at doing. If he keep playing like Mike, have only 1 year to sit back. But let's go. But I really would believe why they wouldn't bring him here, because it'd be too much controversy. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's why they wouldn't get him. But that would be my 1A. Well, like I said, if you're ready to start now, I bet get Baker Mayfield. But for the future, 2 years sitting down, I'll take Lamar Jackson. That's my choice.
Well, this is all I can tell you. I mean, no question, Lamar Jackson would be a great pick. Because he does bring that. I guess you would call it a. Yeah, I mean, the guy is just. I mean, he's an electric player. We already know that. And there's no doubt that this guy would be he would be electric in the league. Again, you'd have to put him on the right team. He'd have to be in the right situation. But we know that he has the intangibles where he can hurt you with his feet. But he also has a big arm, and I do mean a big arm. So if you could get him into the situation where you could, kind of have an offense almost similar to what Atlanta had last year under Kyle Shanahan. Now I tell you, if he went out to San Francisco, buddy, oh my goodness, and that could happen.
Yeah, they're third. What they're like the third worst team it's possible. Fourth. So we'll see, man. But
I think they're going to sign Garoppolo, though. I think they're going to sign Garoppolo, and they look a whole lot better under him. You can tell he's just a little bit more, and he'll have the offense, and there's no telling what's going to happen with in the off season when they get a chance to really work, and he really gets ingratiated into that offense, and we'll see exactly what happens.
Oh, no question, man. I mean, you're right.
Now, Minister,
no question, man. I mean, you're right.
Minister, is it time? Is it really? I mean, I'm not just talking. Isn't it about time for? I'm just saying, isn't it about time for Atlanta to draft a quarterback?
Oh, there's no question, man.
I mean,
right.
There's no question.
There's no question. As a matter of fact, I wrote a blog recently. If you guys want to go, you can check it out. The link is on Twitter. It's also on our Facebook page at Real Talk Sports 7. Matter of fact, that's where you can find us anywhere on social media, Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook at Real Talk Sports 7. And you'll see some great stuff that I have from live on the scene at Falcons games, Hawk games, and just some great stuff going on around Atlanta. Well, basically what I said in the blog is that really for Atlanta to get back to the playoffs and do any kind of work, two guys have to be in their A game. One of them is DQ, Dan Quinn, our head coach, and the other one is Matt Ryan. Because normally you guys know that I try not to throw a lot of shade on Matt. He's a very likable young man. He came into, if we go back to the beginning, a very difficult situation and made the best out of it and really did some stuff at the quarterback position that nobody, including Michael Vick, had done previously. Back-to-back winning seasons, multiple playoffs, and got to an NFC Championship twice and to the Super Bowl once. And, whose fault? My fault? Nobody's fault. Even Mike Vick did not do that. So, we certainly want to give Matt his props. However, I said that, but I just said that he didn't take him two, and his misbehavior probably caused that. But that's not anybody's fault but his. But getting back to the whole thing with Matt Ryan, there's no question. If you look and say, okay, what's the difference between this Falcons team last year and this year? And you have to say, I got to put blame on a particular player. Matt Ryan has to take a lot of the blame because at the end of the day, all of his measurables are down. All of them. Now, some of that Ken will tell you can be caused by the offensive coordinator, but Matt, let me give you an example. Last year, Matt had a staggering 5-to-1, actually over 5-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. And Ken will tell you as a safety, got to play defense. When you can be that safe with the ball and still be able to throw 38 touchdown passes, buddy, that's why he was MVP. You are a dangerous man. This year, just the opposite. He's not even 2-to-1. He's 17 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. The offense averaging 33 points a game, record year, down to 22 points. You're talking the offensive output is down 33%. The defense, they've done what they had to do. As much as I was questionable about putting in a new guy like Marcon Manuel, the Falcons actually statistically are up pretty good from over where they were last year. Overall, I think they're in the top 10 in defense, right around 7 or 8. So really, if you
oh my goodness, I predicted that.
You sure did, bro. Listen, that's what I'm trying to show you some love. And there's no question that if Matt Ryan and Ken, we know some of the strange calls late in the game by Dan Quinn. If these guys continue to do that and the Falcons don't go to postseason, then the blame is going to surely rest on both of those guys.
The blame is going to surely rest on both of those guys.
I agree. Matt has to play. I think he really has to play better in order for this team to go and do what we think they can do and can be. And it's amazing to me that the year that the defense has kind of showed up and been the defense that we've been wanting to see and clamoring in Atlanta for a time is the year that the offense kind of falling apart and not been what we needed to be in order to get us into those favorable situations. You take it's amazing the best of both worlds. I think the young guys Bell only helped. The addition of Poe, as we thought it would be a real nice addition, but I tell you what, over the last 4 or 5 games, he's been a stalwart in the middle of that defense. Along with he and Grady Jarrett, you get those guys coming off the corner. Even though Vic Beasley's not having a great season output-wise as far as sacks is concerned, they're still doing some stuff and being very disruptive. Everybody's playing a part, and as I noticed, they dropped Vic a lot in the past. So that's kind of taken away from his snaps and kind of rushing the passer. So he's more of that weak linebacker or that Leo spot. He's been playing a whole lot more of that and not rushing as much as he is. But it's just amazing to me that you say, Minister, those two things, in-game situation things, have to be right, and that all falls on the head coach. And Matt gets blamed a lot for a lot of different things. I always say this: he can't catch pass and catch it. So execution has to be there from everybody. But when you are the back of the team, that's the most important position on the team, if you ask me. And it starts with that. Now, if the Falcons fall short, if they don't make it to the playoffs, it'll be because of Matt Ryan not playing the way we know he's capable of playing, and I don't know what it is. I know it's a different play caller. That's probably what it is, being a different play caller. Could be. This is what his all of his 10-year career. That's a lot of changing. Going back and forth.
It could be lack of leadership.
Excuse me, sir. Could you let Mr. Swilling finish his point before you go on your rant about Matt bashing? We'll give you time to have the floor by yourself, but let Ken finish the point. Go ahead, Ken.
I mean, you always want to talk about lack of leadership with Matt. That ain't that. Anybody has a real true gauge of leadership when it comes down to this Falcon team. I don't think you really can't point to one guy and say, oh, he's the guy, or he's the vocal leader, or he's that guy, because they don't display a lot of that in the public eye. I don't know, but you can tell on the field, you can tell who those leaders, who they should be. They're not necessarily those demonstrative guys that are working. When I look at the defense on the defense side of the ball,
you hit it. That's it, bro. You hit it. You spot on. Bro. You hit it. Great point.
Spot on.
When you look at a guy that Minnesota, they were down. The game before Minnesota, when Trufant and those guys got hurt, they had to drop down into the box to play the nickel. He also had to go back and play corner. He can do things that a lot of guys just can't do. And he is one of the most key cogs to what Atlanta does as far as getting everybody lined up and doing everything, all the things that he needs to do. So, he's a very vocal leader. But accountability, I don't mean to take up so much time, but accountability is what each man is looking to each other and being accountable for what they do. And I know Matt looks in the mirror and says, you can't tell me that, people act like he's just out there just throwing interceptions because that's what he wants. He understands he's got to play better. And I think for them to, as I said before, I think for them to win, for them to go into playoff football, he's got to play a whole lot better. DQ's got to call a better game, got to make better games. And, I know every decision is not going to be a decision that we agree with, but at least got to make sense sometimes. At least sometimes it works out your way. The other night when we had a situation where they were down inside of the when New Orleans was inside of the 20, we had a penalty that was a holding at 3rd and 12, and the forego the penalty for it on the fourth and half a foot, and they got it, which extended the drive. I thought that was the wrong call. However, it worked out for us because we got the interception. But that's about being lucky. Better being lucky than.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, that was one of the strangest calls. And you guys, if you like, you can go ahead and actually go to our YouTube page, Real Talk Sports TV. You can check out the interview with Matt Ryan where he talks about his play being subpar. You also can go to that page and listen to Ricardo Allen as I asked him what kind of defense were they running for the interception. And he makes a very funny answer to the minister. So, guys, if you want to check that out, we got that footage right after the game. Great stuff. Again, go to our YouTube page, Real Talk Sports or Real Talk Sports TV, and you can see the post-game locker room interview with Ricardo Allen and also Matt Ryan's post-game comments as well. Again, guys, you listen to the Real Talk Sports Show as we broadcast to you from just outside of Atlanta, Georgia here. We are now on a new platform. We're on BlogTalkRadio. We also can be watched on YouTube Live and also watched on Facebook Live as well. Yeah, man. I mean, go ahead.
Y'all thinking I'm going to forget what I'm going to say. Y'all want me to forget. Y'all don't want me to tell the truth about Matt Ryan and stuff like that. Y'all don't want me to speak the truth, but y'all going to speak the truth. I'm going to preach to y'all tonight. Because what I was talking about with Matt Ryan, the lack thereof. And even on the defensive side, what you was talking about, Vic Beasley, Ken, them two, they're really supposed to be the two. On the defensive side, been there, and the hype that he had coming into to the organization, he's supposed to be the leader of that defense. Maybe not literally. He really is supposed to. But hold on. The two linebackers that stand out to me when I see them play, I can't think of his name, number 59. I can't think of his name right now. But number 59, Campbell. That's it. Campbell. Those are the two linebackers. Every single time when I see them play, they stand out way more than Vic Beasley. Now, Vic Beasley, I ain't saying he doesn't do nothing. I'm not saying that. But more consistently shows out every game. 59's all over the field. Campbell and Deion Jones is covering it, doing what he does.
Hey, bro.
And on the offense,
I'm on the air right now, man. I'm going to text you the calling number if you want to jump in.
Not necessarily vocal. Russell Wilson's not
No, bro. I'm not at WIGO. I'm on my own internet station. The number is 347
to 8 and 5. Who does Russell Wilson got on offense?
I typed it in the Facebook page. I guess nobody saw it. Yeah, 347 326 9991. That's what we got calling that number there, bro.
21-0. Now that's what I'm gonna have to be.
We'll pipe you right in.
They're showing it on the field that Ryan has. I'm just seeing the best of Matt Ryan, and his best was last year, and I think he's on the down decline now. I really think this is all you're going to get.
I'm confused with Russell Wilson is one of the best players in the game, and
elite quarterback. Elite
as a quarterback, he might be one of the pure athletes in the game for his size and for his ability and everything that he's done. He gets the most out of his ability, more so than anybody else that I know of, that I can speak of at this moment. So, I think, from that standpoint, are we talking about, when you say leadership with Matt Ryan, are you talking about what exactly do you want to see Matt do? What exactly hadn't he done that you want to see him do?
Well, I want to see not necessarily what was he at 38?
Right. Yep.
What 7 interceptions? Like?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying necessarily 38 touchdowns, but you got 38 to 7 to 7.
Well, now keep in mind, you still got 3 games left, so we can get up into the 20s if he plays like Matt Ryan normally plays.
Right.
But I don't understand. I don't know what Matt Ryan normally plays. He's so inconsistent.
His normal play? I'll get that for you right now. I'll get it for you. Hold tight. Hold tight. If you look at if you look at Matt Ryan, traditionally he does what you want at your quarterback position. He gives you at minimum a 2-to-1 touchdown pass to interception ratio. That's been pretty much his career. He's given you pretty close to that. And I'll give you the years where this team, everybody thought, hey, this team is going to go and win a Super Bowl, which were the years between 2010 and 2012. You remember, that's when they kind of formed this team. They brought in Tony Gonzalez. They brought in Julio with the draft picks because they said, okay, if we get Matt these weapons, we think he can win. And I'm going to give you his numbers. 2011, first year with Julio, 29 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 4,200 yards passing. The next year, the year they should have went to the Super Bowl, he had 32 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. If you look at the next year, 2013, that's when they fell off, 26 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. 2014, 28 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. So he's been fairly consistent in getting you approximately, not all the time, but fairly close to that 2-to-1 ratio. So, he's been, the guy, here's the thing. The guy has thrown in his career for 41,000 yards. That means he's averaged about 4,000 yards per year, which I get it. It's basically the equivalent of a guy who's averaging 3,000 yards when I was, kind of watching the game. His quarterback rating for his career is just under 94%. And he's had a couple of times where he's flirted with 100%. And, of course, last year was epic. He was 117.1. The problem with Matt Ryan is that he has the same problem that Peyton Manning had. He had the same problem that Brett Favre had. No, hold on a second. Let me explain what I'm talking about. The thing about Peyton Manning that people forget, now I know he had to face the Steelers and the Patriots, but if you look at him in big games, championship games against the Patriots, except that one where Bill Belichick decided to go for it on fourth down on his own 30. If you look at him play in the Super Bowl, you cannot point to any game, championship game, except for one, or a Super Bowl where Peyton Manning had a big game. He didn't. Brett Favre, as good as he was not MVP in the 2 Super Bowls that he played in. He wasn't. So what I'm trying to say to you is that great quarterbacks sometimes are not great when they need to be. Matt Ryan has had that problem because there's no question in 2012 that Atlanta Falcon team should have went to the Super Bowl. And Matt Ryan, although he brought them back and had them knocking on the door to win the game, the bottom line was his fumble and interception early in the game. Those 2 turnovers turned the game in the San Francisco's favor.
Matt, he lost the game. Matt Ryan lost. What I said is, I wasn't a big fan of Brett Favre either. I mean, he's a good quarterback. They're really actually a good comparison them two. They're good. They're very good quarterbacks. But the only reason I think the only thing that made a leader is his durability, stability, and how far and how long he was a gunslinger. Yes, he did. But he had interceptions left and right, and he'll lose you the game. He'll lose as many important games as he would. I mean, he wasn't the greatest to me either. I just don't see the consistency in just being that leader. Like I said, Ken, to go back to your question you'd asked me, being a leader is. Do you really think Matt? Okay, let me ask you this. Like y'all forget about the talent that Matt Ryan got around him also. Now, if Russell Wilson was in the Atlanta offense and Matt Ryan was in the Russell Wilson offense right now, do you think what Matt Ryan could have? I really, truly don't.
Well, here's the thing. Listen, first of all, you've heard me say on this show and other places that Russell Wilson is one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league.
Russell Wilson is one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league.
Forget elite. He's one of the best 3 quarterbacks playing right now, including
he's one of the best right.
No doubt about it in my mind.
No doubt about
that
it in
guy
my mind.
is.
That guy is.
Normally, like Ken teased me because I kind of overused this term when I was talking about Colin Kaepernick. But I can't say it about Russell Wilson. This guy's a seminal talent. This guy's a seminal talent. You don't get guys like this that come around.
You don't get guys
guys like this would come around,
he had a good team
except
around
every
him.
so often. And you saw when he had a good team around him.
So there's no question.
You saw
Wilson, one of the best
two Super Bowls.
And there's no doubt. If you ask me, hey, we'll start a team. Which one of these quarterbacks will you take? Right now, I take Russell Wilson.
Right now, I take Russell Wilson.
Because I think Russell Wilson is
the type of guy
he can beat you with his arm. He can beat you with his head. He can beat you with his legs.
With his head.
So that's it. Well, guys, you can't believe this, but we are down to the final seconds. Final words first from you, Mr. Miles Tyson.
Words first from you, Mr. Miles Tyson.
Oh, really? Miles T, man, thank God for you, Jonathan. Appreciate the opportunity tonight. It was fun, man. I like talking on the fucking thing.
Right. And you can wear them bad slippers and there's no problem.
Bad slippers and there's no problem.
Game Time Sports Talk Radio, 9:30. God bless.
Brother Ken?
Brother Ken?
All right, as always say this, if you're out there, just learn a little more, hate a little bit less. I said, appreciate you, Minister, for with this platform. Folks to do just a little bit more.
Well, certainly we're excited, gentlemen. Appreciate both of you guys for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here tonight. As we shift our platform focus away from some stuff with WIGO, but branching off now into Real Talk Sports TV and Radio. We've been talking about doing this for over a year. But the time is now, so we're excited about launching off and everybody else is listening. Gentlemen, we're going to be doing some stuff as we go for Blog Talk listeners, we're going to let you guys go.
For the Blog Talk listeners, I know a lot of you guys have tuned in. They give us a time limit, 1 hour. The hour's gone, but they do allow us to continue to record the broadcast, and it's also being still streamed on Facebook Live and on YouTube Live. So again, we just appreciate the opportunity.
We are looking to
appreciate you guys.
Some other things,
and good Lord willing, we are doing some other things, especially in the TV and video aspect, and especially doing more
appreciate you. Hang tight.
Live remote broadcast. And good Lord willing, we'll be back doing it again next week.
God bless everybody.
God bless everybody.
All right. Good evening.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Hey, man, you know what my problem was tonight, bro? I couldn't get on my own Facebook page. Oh, let me get off. Hold on a second. Let me log off. All right, everybody, God bless you and have a great night.